So now we will pick up a question to clear the concept regarding stock and data system. So we shall start with question number 2.1. Correct? 2.1 is the question which we are picking up to elaborate the discussion which we just have had with respect to stock and data system. Now in this particular question, first of all, what is given? Let's have a look. Lakes Limited sent goods to its Rutland branch at cost plus 25%. Now you know that what we call replication of this particular transaction. Cost plus 20%, cost is 100, margin happens to be 25. So quite obviously your invoice price happens to be 125. From the following particulars, prepare branch stock account, branch adjustment account, and branch profit and loss account. I've already told you under stock and data system, which happens to be pretty wider in comparison to data system, because here what we prepare 4 major account, and besides that we may have to prepare some more account. But these are the 4 major necessary account: branch stock account, branch adjustment account, branch profit and loss account, and branch debtors account also. Although in this particular question they haven't mentioned debtors account, the reason being is that opening and closing balances are not given in the question with respect to debtors. So that's the reason actually we need not require to prepare debtor account in this particular question. I have already told you, in case if opening and closing debtors are not given in the question, it means actually branch is not engaging itself in the credit transactions. Correct? So opening stock, it is given at invoice price 5,000, and then goods sent to branch. Even though invoice price is not written over here, still we shall presume that it is at invoice price. Now here it is another important point: loss in transit and theft at invoice price. Loss in transit and theft at invoice price both will be considered as abnormal loss. Both these losses will be considered as abnormal loss of goods. Remember one thing, under branch accounting, unless word normal is not there, whatever type of loss it is, you will always presume it as an abnormal loss. Are you getting my point or not? Unless under prefix or suffix normal is written, you will always presume that loss as an abnormal loss. In branch account, if nothing is mentioned whether loss is abnormal or normal, you will always presumed as abnormal loss. And in case if normal very specifically given, then only you will presume it as an abnormal loss. I have already told you, as far as abnormal loss is concerned, while discussing the concept, I told you first of all abnormal loss of goods will be put on the credit side of the branch stock account. Then we will take the loading part. Loading will be written towards the debit side of the branch stock account, and then abnormal loss at cost will be put on the debit side of the profit and loss account. However, as far as loss in weight, here in bracket it is given normal loss. So it is a normal loss. Now in case of normal loss, I told you actually first of all it will be written towards the credit side of the branch stock account. But in this case we need not require to split it into loaded part and cost part. Full amount of normal loss will be put on the debit side of the branch stock account. Correct? And further we are being given sales. And in this case, these sales must be cash sales. The reason being is that no opening and closing debtors are given. Now, expenses are 8,000 and closing stock at branch at invoice price is given to you at 6,000. And then we have recovered some amount from insurance company, that is rupees 2,000. Insurance claim will be put on the credit side of the profit and loss account. Is it clear to you? So in this question, this is the first question. So naturally, I am going to do this particular question first of all for you so that you comprehend in a better manner. So in order to do this particular question under stock and data system, this happens to be question number 2.1. So first of all, I will be preparing branch stock account in this particular question. So this is branch stock account. Correct? This is branch stock account. Branch stock account. We are going to prepare branch stock account, number 1. Number 2, we will prepare branch adjustment account. I have already told you the basic purpose of branch adjustment account is to bring the item to the cost. Correct? And through this account, we will derive what we call gross profit. Branch adjustment account. I have already told you under this particular branch adjustment account. Under this particular method, we are in a position to derive gross profit and net profit separately. And then we will prepare here branch profit and loss account also. So I will be writing here branch profit and loss account. Is it clear to you or not? Now, first of all, in this particular question, let me also keep the sheet because I cannot flip through time and again. The first information which is given to us is opening stock. I have already told you in this particular question, as far as rates are concerned, first of all, let me write here cost price, and then here I will be putting up margin, and then I will write here invoice price. Is it clear to you? I will write here invoice price. Now, as far as rates are concerned, it is clearly given on cost because it is given that goods are being dispatched at cost plus 25%. So we shall have to presume cost as 100 and margin will be your 25 and invoice price was 125. So far, till up to this particular moment, whatever question which we have done, I have told you that once we have filled up this particular equation, then all we need to do is to put the what we call margin in the numerator, and in the denominator we are supposed to write the what we call invoice price, and this way round we will get rate of loading on invoice price. Of course, this is the rate which we require to what we call pull out the loaded part, isn't it or not? Only this rate is of importance. However, I would love you to henceforth means now onward, when you make the rates, generally we require the rate of loading on invoice price, and for that actually we have to put the margin in the numerator and the denominator we write actually invoice price, and this way around we get what we call rate of loading on invoice price, isn't it? But henceforward, I would love you to actually now make a part of your habit to also frame rate on cost, rate of loading on cost. This is rate of loading on invoice price. Now I want you to frame rate of loading on cost, and for that actually you need to write in the numerator margin and in the denominator now you have to write the cost. It is known as rate of loading on cost. We will see that under rare circumstances later on, we may need this rate also. When this rate will be needed, I will let you know later on, but in this particular question, we will see that we require only this particular rate. But now onwards, you make a habit of computing the rates on both. The rate of loading on invoice price 1/5 and rate of loading on cost is your 1/4. Because sometime we may need actually rate of loading on cost also. Anyway, here the first information which is given to us is opening stock. As you know, I have already told you opening stock will be written towards the debit side of the branch stock account. So first of all, I will write here 5,000 and then I am going to take away the loading. Now under data system loading, we used to put on the opposite side, and even in this system we are going to put it on the opposite side, but not on the same account, rather under what we call branch adjustment account. So under branch adjustment account on the opposite side, that means opening stock has been written on the debit. We will move over to credit side, and over here we are going to write load on opening stock. Load on opening stock. Now 5,000 is the opening stock and it is an invoice price. So rate of loading on invoice price we need. So loading will be equal to 1,000. Is it clear to you? Now it is given to us that goods have been sent by head office. So goods sent to branch. And goods sent to branch we see here is equal to 20,000. So I will be writing here 20,000. And once again I need to pull out the loading. So I will move over to the opposite side of the branch adjustment account. Over here I will write goods sent to branch account and 20,000 into 1/5. So loading will be equal to 1/5. That is equal to 4,000. Is it clear to you or not? After that we have loss in transit. Loss in transit means some goods have been lost in transit and some goods have been stolen away. Theft at invoice price means. So first of all, I will be writing here abnormal loss. Of course, this will be considered as abnormal loss. I have already told you, unless word normal is written, we shall always presume under branch account that loss happens to be an abnormal loss. So total abnormal loss, 2,500 loss in transit, and theft, that is equal to 1,000. So total abnormal loss we may say in this particular case is 3,500. So 3,500, first of all we need to write abnormal loss on the opposite side. And as far as abnormal loss is concerned, I have already spoken about it at great length when we discussed what we call stock and data system. Correct? I told you that as far as abnormal loss is concerned, its loading will be put on the debit side. So on the debit side, total abnormal loss is 3,500 and its loading will be 1/5. So 700 will be your loading part, An abnormal loss at cost, I will have to write on the debit side of the profit and loss account, because I have already told you that profit and loss account is always prepared at cost. So here I will be writing abnormal loss at cost. See here, total abnormal loss is actually 3,500, and out of that your loaded part is 700. So we may say that abnormal loss at cost is equal to 2,800, and this figure we are going to put over here. Is it clear to you? After this we come across loss in weight. Now loss in weight will be considered as normal loss. Here word normal is already written. So normal loss is 500. Any type of loss first of all will be put towards the credit side of the branch stock account. If it happens to be normal loss, I already told you a normal loss is one which we cannot actually stop from taking place. Howsoever care and caution we may exercise, but we cannot what we call stop it from taking place, because it is inherent in the nature of the commodity itself. Correct? Because some evaporation, some leakage, some seepage will always take place. So howsoever actually foolproof your packing might be, you cannot stop it from taking place because it is inherent in the nature of the goods itself. So normal loss actually is considered as part of normal business activity, and branch adjustment account is a sort of what we call your trading account. I have already spoken about it. So normal loss, because it is a part of normal business activity, and in the trading account, that is, which is synonymous with branch adjustment account, we always write the normal business activity items. So normal loss, we need not require to split it like the abnormal loss. The entire amount of normal loss will be put over here. So normal loss 500, you are going to write here in full. Is it clear to you? We need not require to split it. And then we have in this particular case sales 25,500. I've already told you under branch stock account, we write both type of sales, cash sales or credit sales. However, in this particular question, these sales are cash sales. I have already told you why, because opening and closing debtors are not given. I've already told you it means actually the branch is not engaging itself in the what we call credit transactions. So that is why sales will be considered as cash sales. But anyway, had there been any credit sales in this question, I would have had put it on the credit side. I've already told you why we put actually total amount of sales in the branch stock account, because unless if we are going to actually put the amount of sales, total sales, we cannot find out closing stock. So that is why under branch stock account we put both type of sales. Now cash sales. Cash sales will be written only in the branch stock account. Then we have expenses. Expenses are 8,000 and expenses will be written on the debit side of profit or loss account. So I will be writing it over here, expenses. An amount of expenses is equal to 8,000. So I will be writing here 8,000. After this, closing stock at invoice price is given. Now closing stock will be written over here. Closing stock in the branch stock account. First of all, you are going to write here at 6,000. And then closing stock will be taken to the, and the loading will be written towards the debit side. Load on closing stock. Load on closing stock. So we have already written load. So load on closing stock. Now closing stock is 6,000. So 6,000 into 1 by 5, that is equal to 1,200. So 1,200 loading we are going to write over here. Also given in this particular question, claims receipt from insurance company. Actually, any amount which we receive not because of sale of product or not because of renderance of services, any such income is always put on the what we call credit side of profit and loss account. If you remember in your earlier stages, you used to write actually commission received, rent received, dividend received, etc. towards the credit side of profit and loss account. Reason being is that such incomes are driven not because of what we call sale of product or renderance of service. So any such income which an entity actually receives, correct, through other sources, you may say so. So such income will be put on the credit side of the profit or loss account. So insurance claim in this case, you will put on the credit side. So insurance claim happens to be 2,000. Insurance claim is 2,000. Now, once we have submitted the entire information, the first thing is that we need to now tally our branch stock account. If you remember in the last session, we had a lot of discussion how we need to tally. First of all, you have to look carefully which side is greater. Actually, in this case, credit side is greater. Now, I will also tell you the balancing figure. Don't worry about that. The balancing figure will appear on the debit side and the amount of the figure will be 10,500. I have already told you this is your balancing figure. So in this case, credit side of the branch stock account is higher. Now, if credit side of the branch stock account is higher, I told you earlier in the discussion that balancing figure which is appearing now on the debit side, correct, the rule is that first of all, the first preference should be given towards branch stock account. But in this question, and I also told earlier, most of the time the opening stock will be given in the question, so we cannot treat it as an opening stock. Then second preference must be given to goods sent to branch account. However, I also told you 99.99% goods sent to branch account will always be given in the question. So under the third preference, we will treat it as surplus. So if balancing figure comes towards the debit side of the branch stock account, it will be treated as surplus. Is it clear to you or not? Is it clear? If you remember when I was discussing the point earlier, I also told that when we start a business or when we carry out any business activity, our first intention is to actually earn surplus, that is earnings. No one does business to earn losses. So that means to earn surplus is considered as a normal business activity. And because it is considered as a normal business activity, that is why entire amount of surplus will be taken to the credit side of what we call branch adjustment account. You need not require to split it. You need not require to split it into loaded portion or at cost. The entire amount of surplus 10,500 in this particular case will be taken to the credit side of branch adjustment account. Is it clear to you or not? So if it is clear to you, now we are in a position to tally it out. And if I am going to tally it out, then what I am going to get? Obviously, I have already told you, we are going to get actually the gross profit. And your gross profit will be 13,100. So basic advantage of this particular system over the data system is that here we are in a position to find out what we call gross and net profit separately. Now gross profit will be written towards the credit side of this particular account, and now we are in a position to find out the net profit also. So finally we are in a position and finally we are able to find it out. So net profit is equal to 4,300. This is how we have to actually do the accounting under what we call stock and data system. And I hope that after having gone through this particular question, now most of the things must have become absolutely clear. Now we move over to the next question. Now in this particular question, let's have a look over here. Fit and Fine Limited sends goods to Rudrapur branch at cost plus 25%. Correct? Fit and Fine Limited sends goods at cost plus 25%. And here it is given that following particulars are available in respect of branch for the year ended 31st of March 2027. Now the very first line, opening stock at branch at cost of branch. Opening stock at branch at cost of branch. What does it mean? Is this item is at cost or is this particular item is at invoice price? So sometimes we may get confusion. So first of all, let me erase out that particular confusion. See here. Suppose if in the question it is written stock, opening stock, closing stock, whatever it might be. Suppose if it is written opening stock at cost. If it is written opening stock at cost, you will presume it as cost. You will presume it that it is given at cost. Correct? It will be treated as given on cost. So if it is written in the question that stock is at cost, only this much is written. Obviously, I will presume that the stock which is given to us is at cost. Correct? Suppose if it is given this way around, stock at cost to head office. At cost to head office. Suppose if in the question it is being written this way around, that amount of stock at cost to head office. Even in that particular case, you will presume that amount of stock is at cost. Is it clear to you? However, if it is given this way around, stock only word stock is written. I've already told you in case of questions which are based upon rates or invoicing question, if nothing is mentioned, always presume that these are being given at invoice price. So if nothing is mentioned, we always presume that the amount is at invoice price. Is it clear to you? Another point. Suppose if it is given this way around, stock at cost to head office, to branch office. If it is given this way around, for example, goods costing 100 have been sent to branch, let us say at an invoice price of 125. Now branch will receive these goods and branch will be under an impression that this is the cost price of the goods, because branch is going to receive these goods at this price. So they will simply look over the slip and they will find that it is written that price of these goods is 125. So branch is left with no alternative, but they will have to think that this is the cost price. So that is why if in the question ever it is written that stock at cost to branch, please pay attention towards this particular line, at cost to branch. I told you earlier, if it is given this way around at cost to head office, you will have to presume it is given at cost. But if it is given this way around, that is stock at cost to branch, in that case, you will have to presume that it is being given at invoice price. So in this question, it was written at cost to branch or at cost of branch. So it means the opening stock is still at invoice price. Is it clear to you or not? Is it clear to you? So these are the points, first of all, which you need to take care of. And that was also the reason why I was talking about this particular fact, that henceforth you make a habit of computing the rates on both, on invoice price and on what we call cost also. So in this particular question, now we move further. So the first item which is given to us, opening stock at branch at cost of branch, although it is written at cost of branch, but now we know actually it is at invoice price. Is it clear to you or not? Next item is goods sent to branch at invoice price. In this case, no problem. Then again, in this case, there are losses, loss in transit and what we call pilferage at invoice price. Remember one thing, in normal accounting, pilferage, leakage, seepage, weight loss, generally these are considered as normal losses. So some of you may get confused when I will say that I will have to treat it as an abnormal loss. Because in normal accounting, as I told you actually, pilferage, seepage, leakage, evaporation, such losses are generally considered as normal. But branch account comes under a special system of accounting. So when we say special system of accounting, that means here the rules may be a little bit different than what we call the normal accounting rules. So in branch, you have to be careful that you will have to consider every loss as abnormal loss unless word normal is written. So here in this question, although word pilferage is given, but word normal is not written. So that is why I will be left off with no alternative, but I will have to treat it as an abnormal loss. Is it clear to you or not? So both 10,000 plus 4,000 will be considered as abnormal loss. Then similar to the last question, sales are given, expenses are given, and besides that, here's kindly pay attention. Once again, closing stock at branch at cost to branch. So at cost to branch, so it means it is still at invoice price. Is it clear to you or not? And 6,000 is your what we call insurance claim recovery. So this question is quite similar to the last one, but still these are the initial questions. So let me actually again do this particular question for you. So in this particular question, because rates will be similar, if I am going to compute the rate of loading on invoice price, it will be 25 by 125. And in case if I want to compute the rate on cost, it will be 25 by 100. Correct? So this is your branch stock account. This is your branch stock account, correct? And then we will write here branch adjustment account, and then finally branch P&L account. Even in this particular question, daters haven't been given, opening or closing balance of daters are not there. So branch stock account, first of all, you will be writing over here branch stock, and after the branch stock, you will write branch data, branch adjustments, branch adjustment account, and then finally you are going to prepare your branch P&L account. You must have seen actually lots of such questions have been asked in the examination. All these questions are from past papers, and in this particular case, the first item is opening stock, and time and again I have been actually telling you that it is given at cost to branch, and I just clarified the point that in case if it is given at cost to branch, we shall have to presume that it is given at an invoice price. So there's the reason opening stock. First of all, as usual, we are going to write here 20,000. It is at invoice price. So we will move over to the credit side of the branch adjustment account. Over there I will be writing load on opening stock. Now opening stock is 20,000 and rate of loading, as we saw, actually is 1 by 5, 25 by 125. So your amount of loading will be equal to 4,000. Goods sent to branch now we are being given, so we shall write here goods sent to branch account. Now, goods sent to branch account here clearly mentioned at invoice price, so I will be writing here 1 lakh. Then we will write here loading on goods sent to branch account 1 lakh into 1 by 5. That is equal to 20,000. Then we are being given loss in transit and pilferage. I am cautioning you that in normal accountancy we generally consider pilferage, seepage, weight loss, evaporation as normal loss. But in branch, we will not consider it as normal because word normal is not written over here. So if normal would have been written, I would have had considered it as normal loss. So I will be writing here abnormal loss, and in bracket I will write the amount, that is 10,000 plus 4. So 10 plus 4, total abnormal loss is actually 14,000. Total abnormal loss 14,000. I have already told you regarding the treatment of the abnormal loss. First of all, we will take the loading part. Load on abnormal loss. Now abnormal loss happens to be 14,000, and 14,000 into 1 by 5. Is it equal to 2,800? Let me actually... Yes, it will be equal to 2,800, but still I do not want to take any chance. So 2,800 is your loading on abnormal loss. And as you know, abnormal loss is split into loaded part and cost part, and now the cost part will be presented under the P&L account. And we will again write here abnormal loss 14,000 minus loading 2,800. You can straight away write, this is just for your reference. You can straight away write here 11,200 abnormal loss at cost. Clear? After abnormal loss, in this question, normal loss is not given separately. Sales are given. Now we will write here sales. Amount of sales which is given to us in this particular question is 1,22,000, and I need not require to remind you actually. It is cash sales because opening and closing debtors are not given in the question. Then expenses are given to us as 22,000. So we will present the amount of expenses under P&L on the debit side, 22,000. Then we have closing stock, and once again it is written at cost to branch. Once again it is written at cost to branch. Indirectly it means actually it is at invoice price. So closing stock we shall write here 24,000, and it is an invoice price. So we will present the loading also on the debit side of branch adjustment account. We will write here 24 and 24,000 into 1 by 5. I think it will be equal to 2,400. Let me check it up. 24,000 divided by 5, that comes to 4,800, sorry. So 4,800. 24,000 into 1 by 5, 4,800. Then we are being given recovered from insurance company. So insurance claim we will write here, that is 6,000. Insurance claim. Insurance claim given to us is 6,000. So I will be writing here 6,000. Is it clear to you or not? Now similar to the last question, first of all, I am going to now tally my branch stock account. Fortunately or unfortunately, you may say so, even in this particular question, what we see actually our credit side is higher. And it is higher by 40,000. Let me also tell you the figure. But I would love to ask once again, what should I consider it? Should I consider it as opening stock? Because generally, if the balancing figure would appear on the debit side of the branch stock account, the first preference should be given to opening stock, but the point is that opening stock is already given in the question. The second preference is generally given to goods sent to branch, and goods sent to branch is already there. So third preference is given to surplus. Now I will presume it as surplus. So even in this question we find there is surplus. I've also told you that surplus will never be split. It will be taken in full to the credit side of the branch adjustment account. And over here I'm going to write surplus amount, and the surplus amount is 40,000. After writing the amount of surplus, now we are in a position to find out the amount of gross profit. An amount of gross profit will be of 56,400. Gross profit carried down 56,400. Obviously, now you will put it on the credit side of the P&L, and you will write here gross profit 56,400, and finally now you will have to find out your net profit. So when you will compute your net profit, 62,400 minus 33,200 will give you 29,200. So this is how you are going to derive the net profit in this particular question. Well, after having gone through these two questions, correct, I hope that I have been able to make a little bit clear the concept of stock and data system. Now we pick up this particular question, and it's not an easy one. Let me also tell you. 2.3, the past examination question, and here it is written, Indian Traders Limited sends goods to Chennai branch at cost plus 25%. Indian traders are sending the goods to the Chennai branch at cost plus 25%. Following particulars are available in respect of the branch for the year ended 31st of 3/2026. Now see here, now you will learn the use of rate of loading on cost. Because till up to this particular moment, in the entire chapter, whatever questions which we have done, and we have done near about 20 questions already, we have never used the rate of profit on cost, correct? But while starting this particular topic, I told you in the beginning, in the very first question, that now onwards you make a habit of computing the rate of profit or rate of loading on cost too, besides what we call on invoice price. And in this question, we shall need what we call rate of profit on cost too. How? Let me tell you. And why? Opening stock at branch at cost to head office. So this time here opening stock is written at cost to head office. So it means this figure is given at cost. Is it clear to you or not? And I have already told you so many times that branch stock account is always prepared at invoice price. Now because this item is given at cost price, you will have to convert it into invoice price. So if an item is given at cost, in order to convert it into invoice price, in that particular case, we shall need rate of loading on cost. Is it clear to you or not? For example, if I want to convert this into invoice price, first of all, I will write 64,000. Then I will add the rate of loading on cost. We will see later on that rate of loading on cost will be equal to 1/4. That I will tell you later on. But I will add it and I will get what we call this figure 80,000. It means opening stock at invoice price is at invoice price is at a value of 80,000. Is it clear to you or not? So we may need what we call rate of loading on cost, and we shall need it to convert an item which is given at cost into invoice price. Is it clear to you? Because sometime in the question you may be given some item which may be at cost. So you cannot directly put them into what we call your branch stock account, because branch stock account is always prepared at an invoice price. So that's the reason you need to have both sorts of rate. Although on majority of the occasions, we shall have to use what we call rate of loading on invoice price. But on rare occasions, we may use actually, or we may have to use rate of loading on cost too. So in this particular question, goods sent to branch at invoice price is given. Now this is given at invoice price. We'll put it simply on the debit side of the branch stock, and we'll take the loaded portion on the credit side of the branch adjustment. And once again, loss in transit at invoice price 15,000 is given, and besides that, pilferage is also given. And once again, it is written pilferage, so that means it is also abnormal loss, not normal loss. Because in branch accounting, unless word normal is there, we shall always presume it as an abnormal loss. Then sales are given, and these are cash sales once again, because opening closing debtors are not there. Then expense is 60,000, and closing stock at cost to head office. So once again, closing stock is also at what we call cost. So in this question, we may need rate of profit on cost. and you have recovered what we call 10,000 from the insurance company. To make you understand better this particular question, just pay attention over here. First of all, let me actually talk about the rates. In this particular question, obviously, we are being given that goods are being sent at cost plus 25%. I think so that is given. Let me actually check it out once again. Right, cost plus 25% is given to us. So goods are being sent at cost plus 25%. So first of all, let me write here cost price, and then I will write as usual loading or margin, and then invoice price. Correct? Invoice price. I will presume cost as 100 because rate is based upon cost and the margin happens to be your 25. So your invoice price will be equal to 125. After what we call filling up these, now first of all, let me write here in the numerator 25, in the denominator invoice price. This is the rate actually which we generally use, and this is the rate known as rate of loading on invoice price. But now we need to find out rate of loading on cost price. So 25 in the numerator, in the denominator you will write cost price. So it means this is your rate of loading 1/4 on cost price. Is it clear to you or not? You must compute actually both sort of rates. Although I have already told you on majority of the occasion we may need only rate of loading on what we call invoice price. Now I will prepare branch stock account in this particular question. This is your branch stock account. Branch stock account. I will prepare it a little bit lengthier. And then I will prepare branch adjustment account. And then finally, branch P&L account. Correct? So branch P&L account. This is branch P&L. This is your branch adjustment account. Branch adjustment account. And branch stock account. Opening closing debtors are not given. That is why till up to this particular question we haven't prepared debtors account. Let me keep the sheet of the question, which is the question 2.3. I think it is right. 2.3. So in this question, Indian traders, the first item is opening stock at branch at cost to head office. So first of all, I will write here opening stock, and because opening stock at cost is given in this particular question, so I will write here at cost 64,000. But I know actually that stock account is always prepared at invoice price, so I need to convert it into what we call invoice price, and for that I need to apply rate of loading on cost. Now rate of loading on cost is 1/4, as I told you a moment ago. So 16,000. That means if cost is 4, margin is 1. So if cost is 64, margin is 16. So by adding the margin, we get invoice price. Now this becomes the invoice price of opening stock, that is 80,000. Now it is at invoice price. I will have to pluck out the loading. So on the other side of the branch adjustment account, I will write loading on opening stock. Now opening stock 80,000. Now 80,000 is invoice price. So in order to pluck out the loading, you will have to apply now rate of loading on invoice price, because 80,000 is invoice price. However, you are going to get the same amount of margin. No, I need not require to tell you, 16,000. Similarly, here now we are being given goods sent to branch account. So we shall write here goods sent to branch, and amount given to you is 12 lakhs. So you will be writing here 12 lakhs. Correct? And then we'll move again to the opposite side. We will write here goods sent to branch and 12 lakh, and 12 lakh into 1/5. I think it is equal to 2,40,000. How much it is? Right, 2,40,000. 2,40,000. Then we are being given abnormal losses. So I will write here abnormal loss. And abnormal loss which is given to us is 15,000 plus 6,000. 15,000 plus 6,000, that is 21,000. So 21,000 is total abnormal loss. 15 plus 6. And now we will write over here loading on abnormal loss. Load on abnormal loss. Now 21,000, because we have sent the goods and goods have been sent at an invoice price. So out of those goods, loss has taken place. So quite obviously the losses are at invoice price. So 21,000 into 1 by 5. Is it 4,200? Let me check. 21,000 divided by 5, it is equal to 4,200. Now abnormal losses, loaded portion is presented over here, but abnormal losses at cost we will have to write here. Abnormal loss at cost. So abnormal loss at cost will be 21,000 minus this. So I can straightaway write 16,800 over here. I need not require to reflect it 21,000 minus 4,200. If you want, you can do that. 16,800. Then we are being given sales, and sales amount here is 12,19,000. Although it is written sales only, but these sales must be cash sales. Reason being is that opening closing datas are not given in the question. 12,19,000, and then we are being given expenses. Expenses are given equal to 60,000. So I will be writing here 60,000. And besides expenses, closing stock once again is given but at cost. So closing stock we will write here, and closing stock at cost, it is given to us. So we will convert it into invoice price, and in order to convert it into invoice price, we will have to apply the rate of loading on cost, which happens to be 1 by 4, that is 8,000. So 40,000 closing stock at invoice price, now we may say. Is it clear to you? So we shall write here loading on closing stock, and closing stock is given to you at 40,000, as you can see. And it is at invoice price now, so I will apply the rate 1 by 5, but I will get the same margin, that is 8,000. Then finally the last item is insurance claim, and insurance claim will be put on the credit side of the branch P&L account. So I will be writing here insurance claim, and insurance claim, as you can see, is 10,000. Insurance claim is 10,000. Is it clear to you or not? So in this particular question, now first of all, let me tally this particular account. If I am going to tally 12,19,000 plus 21 is 12,40,000 plus 40, 12,80,000 is the total of the credit side, and 12,80,000 is also the what we call total of debit side. So this is the question where neither there is any balancing figure on the debit side, no balancing figure on the debit, no balancing figure on the credit. So no balancing figure. Sometime on rare occasions such a situation could happen. Now we will directly tally the branch adjustment account, and from branch adjustment account, as usual, we are going to derive actually our gross profit, and gross profit balancing figure you will write here, and it will be your 2,43,200. 2,43,200 will be your gross profit. Is it clear to you? And gross profit will be written over here, 2,43,200. Gross profit. Once you have written the amount of gross profit, now you are going to find out your net profit. Your net profit will be equal to 1,77,000 in this particular case. 1,77,000 in this particular case. Is it clear to you or not? So with that, we finish up this particular session and shall meet you in the next one, of course, and we are going to stretch our discussion towards some upper limits and some more what we call higher limits. Correct? I hope that things are coming up to your expectation. Looking forward to have your suggestion as always. So shall now meet you in the next session. Till then, time to say goodbye.